I took a week off work because when I was booking my holidays, they hadn't yet changed the rules, and so I wasn't allowed to carry any days over until next year. And they promptly changed those rules whilst I'm on holiday. Anyway, I have been off work for a week now, and I thought that this would be time I got to relax, to spend at home doing nothing, go out on the odd walk with the dog, obviously, and just decompose in the comfort of my own home whilst indulging in reading. Because the last time I'd been off hadn't been by choice. I'd been ill and I'd been reading children's books, and I thought, I want to read something slow, preferably written by a female author and just being a bit introspective. I didn't get that. So every single day that I've been off, I've had to do something. Do we go sequentially? That's usually the way to do these things. Also, my hair, I feel like it's much too neat today. That's the preoccupation with today. Highlighting the receding hairline over here. Yeah, so Tuesday, I decide that I'm going to ring up the MOT people. And this time I use the phone number that they've sent me. I don't use the one I've got in my phone. And this must be one of those ones where if you ring this number, then they know that you're a returning customer or something. So I ring them at about 9:30 in the morning. They say, we've just had a cancellation. You could come in this afternoon at 2:45. Great. But the way that my mind works then is that the free Tuesday I'd got planned in my head, I no longer have, because now I've got a plan. So I've got to plan my entire day around this fixed event that's got to happen. Meanwhile, when my car's getting MOT'd, it's also the same time that I've got to do my renewal for my insurance, but we'll get onto that in a second. Car MOT'd, it passes, that's Tuesday, but I had to be out the house, and for whatever reason I planned something on the day and I just can't get anything done. That was also the day I was trying to find something to stick to and read, and that was when on the Sunday, so that'll be, I spoke to you on the Saturday but didn't upload. So was that the day that I was editing as well? That might have been the day that I chose to edit and upload videos. I don't know. But it was on the Sunday I had read Natalia Ginzberg, The Little Virtues, was in work Monday. But on the Sunday I'd also started to see whether I wanted to read The Christmasaurus by Tom Fletcher, because dinosaurs and Christmas I thought would be a good book to share with my nephew. I made it 44 pages through, and I'm not sure it's the kind of children's fiction that I navigate towards, which is closer to the middle grade, more adventurous. I believe that this is for a younger reader, but I might still read it just in the hopes of feeling some sort of Christmas emotion. But on Tuesday, I decided to start reading Lab Girl by Yarum. And this, I got to page 66 of this, and then didn't know whether I was going to continue reading it, but I'm pretty sure that, I'm sure it was Doris of all the books that was talking about this book, but it might not have even been her. I am sure that I heard this book, which is a memoir. It was told well, what I read, but also, I don't know, I just couldn't really get into it. I don't know why. Beautiful writing, but I didn't really care for anything other than the portions when she was talking about leaves. So that got put aside. Continued to read Nigel Slater's The Christmas Chronicles, but I am a few days behind. I did that purposely because I said I'd read this like diary entries, but sometimes just one a day isn't doing it for me because they can be really short. I'm currently in the middle of doing a vlog where I'm reading the Agatha Christie books I saved out of a bin. So currently I've read The Mystery of the Blue Train and I've read Five Little Pigs. This one, probably my new favourite Agatha Christie book. Not gonna lie, I was completely enthralled by the writer's prose in this one. I also wanted to read A Tidy Ending by Joanna Cannon because I feel like when you get sent a proof, that's a nice thing to do, and also it's Joanna Cannon. But yesterday was also the day that I thought I'd read Honeycomb by Joanne Harris, but we'll get to why I didn't do that in a second as well. I did all that Tuesday, which was trying to find a new book to read, didn't do that, but I did get my car MOT'd. Wednesday. So Wednesday, I settled down with The Mystery of the Blue Train. And I think this is it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to sit here in the chair and I'm going to read all day and I'm going to do it. Nope, because my dad got a phone call saying that my brother's Land Rover had broken down in Congleton, which is 8 miles away. And my dad said he didn't really know where he was going. So I thought, well, I'll go with you. And I didn't really think I'd be able to lend a hand or anything, because when it comes to society's perceived ideals of what masculinity is, I don't really fall into those kind of things. Not really that much mechanically minded. And when it comes to weightlifting, well, unless it's a potato, I'm probably not going to be able to pick it up. But we get there. And there's some arguing going on between my brother and my father, so that I think, do you know what, I'm just going to walk home. I'll find a canal. It'll take me about 6 hours, but I'll do it. But I end up pushing my brother's Land Rover. We're out of the house. There's tow ropes bought, tow ropes snapping. Journey's taking forever because of coming back along country roads with one Land Rover pulling another Land Rover, snapped tow bars, all that fun stuff. That's the entire first half of my day gone. So I come back and do a bit more reading. In the meantime, Dinner Ladies, as I told you, went back on Netflix. This is Dinner Ladies, my favourite TV show. If you can get BBC iPlayer, then I recommend going and watching this, because you will get a great idea of what Northern Britain is, what Charlie likes, and Victoria Wood's comedy. So I've been watching that as well. I've watched my favourite Christmas episodes that were on last night. So usually, if I'm not doing anything and I've got about 2 hours spare, I'll start with the episode Fog, which is from series 2, and it's when this escaped convict is on the loose and the blood donors have come to the factory. And I go straight through the Christmas episodes, ending with Menalium, and I treat it a bit like a film. So I've been watching that as well. Thursday comes round and I think, you know what? Today is the day that I stay home and read. I am going to blow off going to the writers group, and I'm going to sit here in my corner and finish The Mystery of the Blue Train. Nope. And this is only a short book, by the way. This is 220 pages. That doesn't happen. My sister gives me a ring. She's in town. She's got an hour off. Me and my mum want to go meet her for coffee. So that happens. That goes till 1 o'clock. I can't go to the writers group till 2. Come home, go to the writers group. Then my mother had to take my brother to go and buy a Land Rover. Obviously, his is broken. So I end up walking home, arrive home, make a quick tea because RuPaul's Drag Race UK was on. And I don't know why I'm doing this to myself. They're on the last episode this Thursday. I don't know why I've bothered watching this series, quite honestly. I've not enjoyed it. I ended up skipping through parts of the episode because I found it cringeworthy. Other parts I thought were completely pointless being on television. Don't know why I did it to myself. Friday. What happened Friday? What happened Friday? Friday, I was actually thinking, today is the day. I headed up to Macclesfield. And this was about 11:30. And drove up, can't find anywhere to park. End up having to park where my sister and I used to park if we were going to do a different route. But I still want to do the route around the reservoir because I thought I only want to do, you know, a quick half hour to 40 minutes here. Well, then I think, actually, where I park my car, it's going to mean walking Sally back a lot around a main, well, not a main road, but where cars are. So I think, do you know what? Beggar all that, what I'm going to do, I'll walk around the reservoir. I'll turn left and go up an hill. Then I'll cross over. You have to walk down a road here, but it's okay. I'll go on along this road, through a gate, and then go back down the hill that I usually end my walk on with Sally. Go across this path and go up the hill I usually start my walk with Sally, walk around, come down a hill, down another hill, be back at my car. Nope, Sally gave up. That little dog said, "Arseholes to you, Charlie. I'm not doing it. I'm not walking." I got to the bottom of this hill and I'm trying to walk up the hill. She stops. She is not moving. She starts attacking her lead. She's like, "No, I'm at it. I've had enough. I don't want to do any more walking. You've had me walking long enough. You've walked me up and down. I don't know where I am, twisty all around these mazes. We've been gone for too long. I want to go home. Naturally, that's what I'm believing as a translator. That was another thing. Wednesday, I had another Italian conversation with the Italian lady who comes into my shop. So after all that going on in the morning, they had that, and I didn't want to ring off again. I'd rang off the week before with being poorly, and she had me read from Dino Sori, the book that she had lent me, and I thought I'd only be reading the first page, and I translated that in my head. And so we had an hour going over like different words. I ended up leaving that with a headache. I was complaining the entire next day about having a headache. I was Googling to make sure that these were symptoms. I even I sent Dane of Dane Reads a message to ask whether he ever gets a French headache, because I was having the world's worst Italian headache after this conversation of trying to translate words into English, not realising that the Italian lady didn't know these English words, and so it became a whole thing. So anyway, back to Friday. I finally read The Mystery of the Blue Train. It took me that long. Started 5 Little Pigs, and that's been my entire weekend, because Saturday, my brother came down from Scotland with my nephew, so I ended up looking after my nephew for the first, well, I didn't plan on doing. I was in the middle of making leek and cauliflower soup, as mentioned in the Christmas Chronicles, and I was blending it at the time I received the phone call. So went, collected my nephew, and then brought him home, had him for about 4 hours. Then it was Strictly Come Dancing, and so all that was happening. Then Sunday happened, and I had my nephew again in the morning, and then I decided to rewatch once he'd gone, which was about midday. Oh, so yesterday I had my phone call as well with me insurance. Oh, let's get to the... So every year since I have... Because, you know, I was going to vlog me week. I should have said that at the start as well. I was going to vlog this. You could have seen all this from me week. Every year since I've started driving, I've had to ring up about my insurance, about the price that they want to charge me, because I can usually find a cheaper quote online. And it annoys me because every year they've been able to reduce it, apart from last year. We'll get into that in a moment, but I got my licence in 2017 and I'd had my car since 2016. So 2017 I didn't really shop around, I stuck with the same company. 2018, told them about the price, they reduced it. 2019, same thing again, they reduced the price. 2020, they couldn't. They could not go lower than the price I've been quoted. I said, well, I'm sorry, I'll have to cancel my account then and go with these other people. So I do that. And then last month, these people sent me a quote. £10 more than they charged me last year. I thought, I'm not having that. I shop around and the same company quotes me. How much will it have been? 412 minus 340, so 340 to 60, so about £72 he quoted me online. Well, yesterday I got on the phone to them and I say, look, you quoted me 340 quid. You are the cheapest option for me to go with, but you're currently trying to charge me more. So they bring up this quote and they say, oh yeah, but we'll have to recalculate because this quote's now expired. I'm like, fine, recalculate, love. She cost herself money. They got it cheaper yesterday. 320 quid, nearly £100 they knocked off my insurance yesterday. And I just think, why do we have to go through this rigmarole every year? Why do I have to ring you every single year to get me insurance cheaper when you know I'm going to want the cheapest price? You're just trying it. And trust me, I am poor. I have been poor for 29 years of my life. I talk about being reliably poor. People want to call me working class. I'll cope with working class, but I am poor. Do you think that I am not going to try and save every penny? I've stopped buying expensive coffee. I know I went for coffee with my sister last week, but that was probably the first time in a long time. Stop buying expensive coffee because you can make it as well yourself at home. All you need is your syrup from the supermarket. Or anywhere. buy some syrup, sugar-free, your flavour. Made a nice peppermint mocha this morning, actually, but it's simple. What you do, you're going to put your syrup in your cup. You're going to get a tiny, probably only like 50 to 70 millilitres of hot water. 2 teaspoons of coffee in that. You're going to warm up your milk in the microwave. If you really want to, you can froth it up. You can buy one of those electric whisks, but I don't bother. You're going to pour your coffee. Well, you're going to pour the milk into the syrup. You're going to put your coffee in. Sorted, you've got yourself a latte. Don't need all this business beggaring off. And I found out to do that because I didn't like paying nearly half an hour's wage for milk. So you can bet that when it comes to having to ring up every single year, I hate phone conversations. I cannot abide talking to people on the phone. But you can bet your life that if you were going to try and charge me money, I will ring up the insurance people. Honestly, it seems to be the only time that I ever ring up somebody. I'm very aggressive on the phone because the only time I ever speak to people is when I'm trying to get stuff cheaper. Like that. Or there was the time that my mother had borrowed my car and she went and she parked it in one of these parking guy car parks. And she put in her registration plate instead of my registration plate. And so they were trying to charge me for parking without putting my number in. I was like, well, I'm not having this. I'm not paying 70 quid. You better believe I went straight onto my computer. I employed my inner Doris and I wrote the angriest letter you ever did get. I got evidence from the bloody doctors. I got them to write a letter that my mother had been in there. I had them check their cameras against when my mother was there and to check their records to see that she had inserted the wrong number plate. I soon got back a letter saying, please make sure to put in the correct registration next time. I was like, good, because you don't know me. You do not know me. I like saving money. My family gets very upset with the way I cook things in this house because I don't cook things by what people want. No, I cook them by the use-by date. Sometimes they'll be there and they'll be like, we want chicken. Sorry, Chuck. Sorry, you can't have chicken because these sausages are 2 days past the sell-by date. You'll have to have them instead. That's who I am. I don't like waste, but I also don't like greed. It's an enigma in this house. That's why I stick to buying tinned soup. Only tinned tomato, really. You know, like, you can make vegetable soup. If anything's looking a bit off, just shove it in onions, garlic, celery, saute it, shove all your vegetables in, cover it with vegetable stock and simmer for 20 minutes and you can have a vegetable soup, right? Shove a knob of butter in there or vegan alternatives, fine. Tomato soup, don't bother with it. It's too much faff, it costs too much, just buy it in a Vines. Bet you're really happy to come here for all these tips today, aren't you? So today is technically my last day off. I'm not in until Friday, but whatever, this is the last actually contracted day I should ordinarily be in. And it's Monday, and what have we done so far? We've made a mushroom soup. I made a mushroom soup this morning. I've had a bath because I wanted to listen to the end of the radio drama of Poirot's Halloween Party starring John Moffat. And I quite liked it. I did guess who the murderer was at the start. I even checked against Wikipedia because I was like, you can't be right straight away, and I was. And I didn't think I was going to continue listening to it, but it did actually prove good. Personally, I thought it was predictable, but then that's just me. I watch and listen to a lot of detective stories. That was my Sunday as well. My mother was binge watching Murder, She Wrote, so that's all I had on tally. Then, like I say, Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe, 2 episodes of Dinner Ladies, make tea, go back, Doctor Who Flux, gonna say, one of my favourite episodes, feeling really sorry that Jodie Whittaker is going to be leaving, but I also think at the same time, I wish she'd had this writing all the way through, basically, but also think that leaving now is a good idea because you can leave on a high. That is, of course, if the writing continues to be as good as I think it's been. You know, remember, opinions are all subjective. I can't remember what it is. the phrase, because I've always said opinions are like arseholes, you don't have to share them. Yeah, it's felt like I wanted a holiday, and I like a holiday different to how other people like them. I like them where I say it's decomposing at home, reading. I had a great holiday back in 2014. Well, no, 2014 wasn't a great holiday for me, was it? Was it 2014? 2014, I'd booked some time off, right? And this, oh yeah, I used to take time off around my birthday in July, and I used to take time off in October for Whitby. And so this week off came in the July, and I'd planned on spending it at home, reading the entire time. Only my mother booked the man to come and fit the new bathroom. So I had to cope with somebody upstairs the entire time with no toilet, and I'd wished that I'd actually booked to go away and visit friends like I'd planned, but I couldn't do it. So yeah, so that was that. But I did have a really good holiday once where I just sat at home the entire time, reading, sat on the settee. Oh, it was April. Oh, it was an April holiday. It wasn't even an holiday. I was just off work. It was lockdown last year. Oh, yeah. Oh, that's really bad. I'm sat here calling it an holiday because it was a really awful time for other people. See, this is how memories can be altered. In my head, I'd had a really good holiday. It was actually a national lockdown due to an ongoing pandemic. And nobody was around. My dog was dying. And so I spent most of my time sat at home, reading, making videos. Charlie, can't go about life like this. Oh well, I usually talk about new music, don't I? Adele, new album. Charlie didn't like it. Charlie didn't like it for the same reason that he goes on about in the past. Adele, as a person, looks to be humorous and funny, and whenever I've seen her in interviews, she's made me laugh. It's just the music. It's music that's not for me. I have nothing against it. It just didn't do it for me. And it's quite easy to say that because, honestly, I don't know what I like and dislike about music sometimes, because there are so many different genres, aren't there? And there have been so many different songs in which I have liked, but they've been from genres that I shouldn't necessarily like based on tastes of other things. And, you know, like, oftentimes it can be a case of I won't listen to anything else by that singer. And, you know, there have been many times where there's been a singer with one song and I've disliked their entire rest of the back catalogue, but they've had one song that I've thought was okay. So I've never really questioned that. Oh, rewatching The Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe yesterday, I wanted to get into this. I didn't like it. I thought it was bloated. I thought it took 40 minutes to get into the story. I thought it could have easily been cut down to 90 minutes. I thought that it doesn't really... It's just... I didn't like it. Again. And I remember when I was younger, I particularly liked that film because if I liked something, I used to get inspired by it and write stories based on what I'd seen. Not fan fiction, because I changed the characters. I'd just take ideas from it. So I remember a Wicked Queen type character, and there was like this chase with talking wolves and everything, and that was all based on this Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe. But watching it yesterday, I got bored, and I think that's also a case of taste having changed. And now that I'm older, I don't really watch many films because I get a bit restless watching films because my brain's reached that point where I constantly feel like I could be using that time elsewhere to be more productive. I'm at that strange phase in my writing life as well where I keep thinking about going back and doing that big structural change of the first part of the final Doris book, but I also know that I'm not really ready to re-enter the world. So I have two characters whose stories are both vying for attention in my mind, and I know that they both take place during the 3 months that Doris is away from Partridge Mews, in between Indisputably Doris and Royally Doris. So technically, I'm actually behind in my writing if we're talking about the years in which I'm writing, but the books are set in 2016, it's gotta be. Because I'm pretty confident that the end of Royally Doris is 2017. And if it's not, I've made a huge error with my timeline. I was thinking about writing this standalone novel next, of course, I've talked about it before. And now I wonder, should I write the next Alice book as well? Could I write them at the same time? I don't think I could do that, because I think it just hasn't worked for me in the past. So I think what it means is doing a bit similar to when we say about trying a chapter when reading books. I'll write a chapter or two here and there until one of the ideas sticks and my focus is that one story, and then I work on that. And ever likely it will be this standalone novel, because I do like the idea of having one story complete, and also I know what that story... I just feel like it's time to get that one done, move on, get that one done, move on. But then I might have another idea in like a fortnight's time. I am glad that now I can kind of put off ideas. Any that stick, I write down, and that come up more than once, I'll write down and think we might be able to go back to that one day. But for the most part, I have a clear idea of the books that I want to write for the next few years. And so it would have to be a flaming brilliant idea to get me to move away from that. I do actually have to have something written for this Thursday for the writers group, because we've got a read around, and also it's our Christmas do next Wednesday, the 1st of December, 7:30 onwards at the Button Warehouse in Macclesfield. If you would like to attend, this probably goes to the people who are closer to my area, then feel free. There'll be mulled wine, there'll be minced pies and other festive things. I have yet to decide what I'll read or whether I'll write something new. Once upon a time, I wrote something whilst I was sat in the pew there. Terrible year, 2015. Booked a lot of overtime. The shop. Went from the shop home. No, that wasn't it. Oh, no. I did. I went from the shop, and my mother had to go to the doctor's, and so I went from the doctor's home, didn't really get anything to eat, and I was trying to do Vlogmas at the same time. Will I do Vlogmas this year even? That's one thing I've been questioning. I question it every year whether I'll do Vlogmas, because it's a lot of work and a lot of people do it, and I don't really know if I have anything to say. I don't have any ideas, and it would probably be about 25 days of wool gathering. You know, it's like, that's the time of year when I end up doing that thing where you end up with a Tag Tuesday, you end up with a wool gathering each week, you end up with a vlog every week as well. It's a week away. I've not pre-filmed out, and I have no idea what I would do anyway. Which, you know, I've been a terrible booktuber this last year. There's no denying it. I haven't been commenting properly on people's videos. I've been avoiding the people who I have regarded as friends. So we've kind of lost touch, and I feel bad about that. I haven't been watching BookTube for various reasons sometimes. Sometimes I've had some professional jealousy, and I don't like watching videos when I'm in that sort of mood, you know, being the perpetual northern grump that I am. Sometimes I've just felt too low to watch videos this year. And so I don't know whether it would be best to avoid it this year. What are your thoughts? Do you really care that much or give it that much thought? It's just, it's one of those things, right, where the older I get, the more accepting I am of the fact that my voice is unimportant and I have nothing to add to conversations, if that makes sense. Anyway, I am going to disappear because I probably can get in a walk with the dog now. So I'm going to head down the towpath, hope that I don't slip in any mud, and I'll see thee when I see thee. I hope that you got something out of this video, even if it was sheer boredom, because until next time, that is all